I think it was about 18 or 16 years ago, maybe, that a friend got us started on composting.
All right. That was your gateway.
It was my gateway because I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And so then I started to think about other ways that we could become more environmentally conscious in our actions and, again, like just live a little more lightly on the land.
We know that you have met with Bedford 2030's Energy Coach Bob. Can you tell us what that experience was like?
Oh, I love Bob. Bob is just the best.
He's the greatest.
He's the greatest. We started meeting with Bob maybe 3 years ago, scheduled an energy coaching session to get the lay of the land. Like, what could we do to make our home sort of more energy efficient? And when we got our bids for the work we wanted to do, we took our bids to Bob and we showed him what each company was sort of proposing. So he checked them all out. He gave us more information, more feedback, pros and cons, helping us to kind of decide, which way we wanted to go. So we loved Bob.
He's a great resource to have because this stuff is so confusing. So I do want to ask you, how did you decide that this was a journey you wanted to go on?
I have been really wanting to get off of oil for a long time. And that desire probably stemmed from my growing awareness about our impact on our environment and how, we all value clean air. We all value clean water. We all want our children to be healthy. And yet, when I started to look at my own actions in the world and what I was doing that was actually detrimental to the environment and to our health, I realized part of it is my carbon footprint, our carbon footprint as a family. And I wanted to try to whittle it down. When we decided we needed to get a new car, like 8 years ago, we were like, all right, let's take the leap. Let's try an EV. Yeah. And that was another thing where your habit changes and it's not as hard as you think it's going to be.
Yeah.
And I didn't go to the gas station anymore and I loved it. And I love not going to get oil changes and I love how fun it is to drive. And so when you come around to these changes and adapting kind of habits that I feel are healthier for ourselves and for our environment, for our planet, it turns out to be a lot easier than you think. And so heat pumps, yes, expensive. Solar, also expensive. So, large investment. And yet over time, it's going to pay itself. It's going to pay for itself. And then we're going to have, renewable source of energy right here on our roof. And we're going to have our heat pumps keeping us warm and comfortable all winter. And we're much more efficient than we used to be when we were on oil. And I guess getting back to the desire to be off of oil, we are off of oil.
So exciting.
So thrilled. I'm so thrilled to be off of oil.
Yeah,
it just makes me feel really, really good.
Yes. Yeah. So can you give us the timeline of where did you start and how long in between and how did you kind of build your energy efficiency up?
We started, again, conversations with Bob must have been at least 3 years ago. Our pumps were installed in March last year, so almost exactly a year ago now.
Exciting.
And we then had the benefit of those pumps through the end of last winter and through the summer. We got to experience how wonderful the air conditioning functions are, with heat pumps. And then this winter now with the really cold winter we've had.
It's been a tough winter.
We got to kind of experience, okay, do our heat pumps hold up? And is our house going to be warm enough?
Great.
And I'm really happy to report that we've been warm and toasty. The solar panels we installed in November.
Okay.
So again, like maybe around August last summer, we settled on our contractor or our company and then approved the installation and the design. And then we needed a new roof and the solar panels were installed after the roof was installed, and that was the whole system was activated in November.
You went from the small, you went from the compost, and then it was the EV, and then it was the heat pumps, and then it was the solar. You've really built this little energy efficiency ecosystem. And
I know, it's so
great. Really, really fun.
We used to see that oil truck come down the driveway, like every 3 or 4 weeks in the winter. Yeah, they'd be bringing in a couple 100 gallons. We used about 900 gallons every winter to heat our home, and those gallons are really polluting when they burn. And so we have particulate matter spewing into the air because it's coming from our home and it's the result of the oil burning.
Let's talk about that health angle a little bit. So that's a big reason why energy efficiency projects are so beneficial is not only is the planet healthier, we are healthier. The people who live in the home are healthier. And so you are a pediatrician, correct?
Correct.
So you have an idea about, how to raise healthy kids, how to have a healthy family. And so how does that connect with the work that you've done on your house?
We're breathing this air. It's much cleaner now that we don't burn oil. Being completely electrified is amazing for the quality of air in the home. So clean air is really important. We were talking about earlier about children being very vulnerable, as elderly people are as well. And so babies, young children, they're growing very quickly. Their bodies are taking in and consuming, quickly, like air and resources and food and energy. And so they're, and they don't have the defenses that older people do in terms of, their bodies protecting themselves from from carcinogens and toxins. Of course, those things aren't good for any of us. So, but I really do feel so much better that our home is full of healthy, clean air now. I think that each small step we take and each small habit that we adopt ends up becoming second nature. It ends up becoming just a part of the way we live our lives. It's not hard, but small steps, right? Whatever feels comfortable in the beginning, whatever feels doable. And then you're like, oh gosh, that composting worked out really well. And it makes me happy, gives you a good feeling. And so what other ways, are possible? Can we replace some of our plants, with native plants? Can we start to minimize our lawn a little bit? Can we switch from using chemicals and going with organic care for our gardens and things like that? I mean, just all those small steps. And then when we finally decided, all right, we want to switch over to this different heating system and we want solar panels for renewable energy, like that, it kind of grew out in a natural way from all the other sort of changes we had made.
Is there anything about your process of electrifying your home, making your home and your life energy efficient, that surprised you and that you might want other people to know?
This is funny because in the summertime, my husband and I used to always have big discussions about, are we going to turn on our air conditioning? Is it hot enough outside? The surprising thing for me was how with the heat pumps over the course of the summer, it completely solved that issue because with the heat pump, you set it and forget it. You pick the temperature you're most comfortable at, and then you leave it alone. And it works most efficiently like that. And in the winter, there is a humidifier built in so that you can also dial up or down your humidity so that the wintertime air inside your home can be humidified to the degree that you want it.
Fantastic. So no more dry skin spending thousands of dollars on moisturizers and exfoliants. Your house is just comfortable, which is surprisingly hard to achieve a comfortable house. We're curious about your return on investment, whether you've noticed a difference in your energy bills.
Overall, when you look at the cost the money we spend now on electricity versus the money we used to spend on electricity and oil, our expenditures are down about 50%
That's
for
incredible.
our utilities.
That's incredible. And you've only had the heat pumps in for a year, a little less, and then the solar is very new, just in November. So that's pretty great that you're already seeing, that return on investment is near on the horizon.